Thank you, Catriona, as well, for filling in last minute.
Thank you. You could regret this. I don't stop talking. I'm very talkative, and I'll let you know now. I only found out about this last night, and I'm not wearing waterproof mascara, so it could get ugly, okay?
As Key touched on, so often the dreams to live for and the dreams that they grant don't only impact the patient, but the support network and the family around the patient has an everlasting impact, and that's why it's great to chat to you from that perspective today. Yes. Tell me a little bit about Lucinda and what her life was like before she was diagnosed with cancer.
Well, Lucinda is my big sister, and I am the youngest of four, and that's why I'm very loud and I talk very fast. If anyone's from a big family, you know that you've got to be loud and you've got to be fast. And I do just want to begin by saying I'm here for all the wrong reasons, and I'm so sorry that the guest speaker could not make it here. So thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of my big sister's story. And Lucinda was a terrible sister to have, because Lucinda was most definitely the favourite in our family. And Lucinda's very beautiful, beautiful, thick blonde hair. I have very thin brown hair, thick blonde hair, big beautiful eyes, and she's famous for her laugh. And Lucinda is the sort of girl that sometimes for Kath and I, we often give speeches to inspire students, young people. And I would often tell people, I am 99% sure that the person you are currently losing sleep over, who's broken your heart, you will not marry them, because I couldn't say 100%, because Lucinda married her childhood sweetheart. Lucinda went to a party when she was 14, and this boy, Jonathan, looked across the party, and Lucinda's very curvaceous. I don't know if I should say that, but she's stunning. She's absolutely stunning. And he went, oh my God, I am going to marry that girl. And sure enough, she's kept all the cards and all the presents and everything where he said that he was going to marry her. And they travelled the world. They got married very, very young, and they have 4 children. But I think something that's really lovely about Lucinda is that Lucinda truly devotes herself to everybody else. Lucinda is a gifted primary school teacher, and we all know that we cannot lose a single teacher, and unfortunately she won't be able to teach to that full capacity again. But yes, I have to say that Lucinda, as her younger sister, was really annoying, because she's so beautiful, she's so talented, and everyone that meets her absolutely falls in love with her.
So her life was going on swimmingly. So she's married her childhood sweetheart, she's got 4 beautiful children, she's a primary school teacher, is that right? Yeah. Do you remember where you were when you found out about her diagnosis, and how much that changed the whole family dynamic?
Well, I do. And it's just annoying, isn't it? Isn't it just annoying that the most talented person, someone that's so gifted, that gives so much, is the person that gets that sentence? And, I have another sister that's also really annoying. I'm like, oh God. It's Lucinda. It's Lucinda that just has devoted herself to helping so many other people. And she was the one that became ill. And
what was her diagnosis?
Well, I'm very careful, Kath, and I know some people will relate to this. I'm very careful when I give the diagnosis, because when Lucinda first found out that she was sick, and like many mothers, she was sick for a very, very long time and never complained and never did anything about it and put everybody before her. And so she never did anything about it. And so she was quite far along. And so we didn't know what it was. And something key, I'm not sure if you can relate to this, but something that I found is there are certain cancer diagnoses, if that's the right term, and you say it and people go, oh, she'll be fine. And then there are other diagnoses, I can't believe it, but people will say to your face, she'll never survive. She's got that, she'll never survive. And don't ever say that to a person, because I just think that's the most rotten thing that you can say to a person. I was stunned, mute, which never happens, when someone said that to me. And so she has a very rare form of cancer, and she's had to give us a text message because none of us know how to say it, but it's basically a very rare form of colorectal cancer. And she initially could go on a trial treatment that came out of the US. And unfortunately, she's covered in tumours as well as the cancer. And so she went on the trial treatment. And, I mentioned this to you before. My brother-in-law, Jonathan, was so thrilled that she would do this trial treatment because Lucinda has the most beautiful, beautiful hair. And he accidentally said, and it was only me that I think really noticed this, but he said, oh, thank God she won't lose her beautiful hair. I couldn't cope. I couldn't bear it if she lost her hair. And I was like, Jono, you don't say that. You don't say that. So she went on the trial, and it did help the tumours, but it didn't help the cancer. So she's had to do chemo, and the chemo has not worked. So the tumours have come back, and so she's now doing immunotherapy, but she's still with us.
Still with us. And this was a year ago, her diagnosis.
It was around about a year ago, and I have to say that I accidentally fell in love with a handsome farmer, and I moved to Victoria. So all my family's based in Sydney. And the very beautiful thing about going through a challenge like this is that your friends rise to the occasion. All of these gorgeous people come out of the woodwork, and a friend mentioned Dreams to Live For.
I was just about to say that. So the one who was caring for everyone else suddenly needs to be cared for.
That's right.
And one of her friends had heard of Dreams to Live For and put that idea in her head.
Yeah. And so when I came to my first event with Louise a year ago, and I couldn't stay. Like, I could not. I just went to pieces during your speech, Key, last year. And I remember out of nowhere, this packet of tissues just flung over my shoulder. And you'll notice on your tables, you've all got tissues. And unfortunately, I just could not be in the room last year. So I did not think I would be sitting here.
What was her dream? Tell us about Lucinda's dream.
Well, some of you may know that I travel for a living. I've hosted Getaway for 28 years. I was a child prodigy. I started on it when I was 6. I'm only joking. Mr. Schwab, you know I'm joking about that. And my bucket list is so long. I have just so many things on my travel bucket list. But Lucinda never told anyone about her bucket list, not even her husband, because like some people, particularly women, she thought as if it would ever happen to me. And Lucinda's bucket list wish, which she revealed to Dreams to Live For the very first time, having never told her husband, she wanted to meet a quokka. And she wanted to go swimming with the whale sharks at Ningaloo. And lo and behold, that is at the top of my bucket list as well, to go and swim with the whale sharks. But that's very difficult to do, but never more so when you are a recipient of Dreams to Live For, because as I have found out, they have found out in the worst possible way, some of the dreams have a certain proviso on them. They could not send Lucinda to Ningaloo because it's so remote that they have once sent a person to a remote area and they had a turn, as we say. They had a turn and they could not get to medical help. And so they couldn't grant the whale shark wish, but they could grant meeting a quokka.
And she got the quokka selfie.
She got the quokka. I don't know if there's a picture of this. Was there a picture of Lucinda there? Or anyway, there's a really great picture of Lucinda, and we've all got very fat cheeks in our family. So it was really just like meeting her spirit animal, because quokkas have they have such huge cheeks and a beautiful winning smile, as Lucinda does as well.
I imagine at the time it was such a refreshing thing to talk about, because you're obviously talking about appointments and treatment and all those hospital concerns, but to have this trip to talk about, and you said to me earlier she still talks about it to this day, to the point that you said to her last night, I'm going to a Dreams to Live For function, and she couldn't shut up about the WA trip.
Yes, it's so funny. So I mentioned Lucinda has 4 children, and if you think I talk a lot, you should see what that family is like. It is insane. Peter, they talk more than you. I know you talk a lot as well, but Lucinda said to me last night, I was driving home and I went, oh my goodness, are you okay if I talk about this? Because Lucinda is so private and she gets stuck with me as a sister. And she said, oh, you've just got to tell them that every day in our family, we still talk about that. And I think something that's really beautiful just to think about is her and Jono had never had a holiday together since having children. So it was important that the two of them went. For Jono, it was a great surprise. He never even knew this about his wife, that was her wish. And as I say, she's so humble that she'd never told anybody. And so they went off and they just had an absolute ball. But you can imagine, Kath, you can imagine what that would do for their relationship, where here is this husband who is, Key, you would know this, who is absolutely reeling. The most important person, the mother of his child, is facing a death sentence. And for him to have something else to talk about was so great. It was so great. And for their children as well. It's been really great. Yeah.
And for you and the rest of the family.
Oh, yeah. I was giving her all the travel tips. Where she was going to shop, what hotel she was going to stay at. Pretty sure they stayed at a Pullman. And he wore Oren Williams.
Maybe get a Sofitel mention in there too
if
you can.
A Sofitel. Yeah, we got that one in there as well. Yeah. So it was wonderful that we could advise on that, and I helped her pack, and I was sending her all those little toiletry things, and that was wonderful to have the distraction.
It's very clear the impact it's had on you and your entire family. So what do you say to everyone today in the room who can donate, some who have already generously donated, to making a wish come true? The average wish costs $2,500. What would you say to those who can donate and who are able to help grant someone else's wish come true, and the impact it will have on not only that patient but the entire support network around the patient?
Well, thank you so much to everybody just for being here and to opening up your hearts to this charity. Something that Lucinda says to me, and she has to remind me because I can't handle this information, but she said, I'm never going to get out of this club. I'm in the stage 4 club and I'm always going to be in this club. And she has to tell me that, which is really wrong. And so, thank you very much. However you can help. And as Louise said to me, she said, you know what's really rotten is that the demand is growing. And Key, you touched on that as well. The demand is growing for Dreams to Live For. And unfortunately, it's become really successful because of the word getting out and that ever-growing list, which Lucinda's friends heard about and put her on. So we are healthy. And certainly for me, I've really connected with that term. Our health is our wealth. And it doesn't matter what kind of job you have. It doesn't matter what kind of beautiful shoes you get to wear. It doesn't matter where you get to go on your holidays. If you are not healthy, you got nothing. And for Lucinda, we have really learnt that firsthand, as so many people in this room have learnt as well. So whatever tiny way that you can help, whatever grand way you can help, you are achieving such wonderful good karma and helping so very many people. So thank you very much for however you can help. I know I'm definitely bidding on Peter, first date with you. And Peter, I think you should do some pajamas like with the Dreams to Live For feather on. Don't you think that'd be great? I think you should, yes. And by the way, Louise backed me up on that. And however you can help, it would be absolutely wonderful. But, keep smiling and keep supporting in whatever way you can, because none of us know what is around the corner for us. And we just have to appreciate this moment here and now and love everybody around us.
And you've really helped in speaking today and opening up so beautifully about your sister. So all the best to Lucinda and to the whole family. And thank you so much for speaking today to Catriona.
Thank you, Kath.